When something goes wrong at work, it can feel like things are literally crashing down around you. I mean, think about it. What if you were asked to get two difficult coworkers on the same page, only to find out that they had dug their heels in even further and they're not going to budge? Or imagine if you had to prioritize two different major initiatives, but then the split in resources between the two of them meant that neither one got done. What if you started getting customer complaints about the very things that were falling apart while you were supposed to be fixing them? It's situations like that where some people would get nervous. Other people would see just one of those issues and start looking for another role. But there could be a way that the failure you're seeing today could be the exact thing that propels you into your next promotion. Now, first, let's consider why these are failures in the first. Here's where people go wrong. They take a circumstance and they make it mean something negative. We're bombarded by the negative view. You miss a KPI, must mean you can't hack it. You get an IM to stop into your boss's office, must mean you're getting in trouble. You and Peggy walk into the office at the same time and she doesn't say hi, must mean she hates you. I mean, you've never said more than 5 words to Peggy in the entire time you've worked with her, but you're suddenly spending the next 5 hours thinking about how you must have wronged her, or maybe she's just a bag to begin with. We are done with that. We are done assuming the worst of every single situation that we get. Because here's the truth, your circumstances don't have to mean anything on their own. You get to decide what the meaning is. For example, you get home after work, right? The family needs dinner, but healthy you had gone shopping this weekend. So there are no quick fixes in the house. You only have whole ingredients, things that you have to chop, you have to saute, steam. You are going to need to roast something to create a meal. So, what does that mean? Well, it'll mean a different thing to everyone. For some people, it's going to mean, dang, healthy me, I will always have frozen pizza in the house. From now on, there will be things to eat. Other people are going to get inspired, treating it like a game. Okay, how do I beat the buzzer to make sure that I turn this green pepper into a meal that my kids actually want to eat? Some of you are going to be so thankful for the time alone to decompress and take out that stress on a chicken cutlet. That one would be me, by the way. If everyone can take a different meaning from the fact that there are only whole foods in the house, if you're taking a different meaning from the same circumstance, it means that it is up to each of us what that circumstance means. And if you get to decide, why are you picking to make it mean something bad? Because here's the plot twist, failure might not be failure at all. I know. I can see your eyebrow raised at me right now. I know. You're thinking, I didn't decide it was bad. It just was. My boss called me into their office, and I can keep an open mind, but it really was to tell me that I messed something up, or that they're cutting expenses, or that I missed a deadline. It really was bad. And that, my friend, is the story right there. You're confusing that one piece with the entirety of the story. Those are just the ingredients, my friend. And you have decided that these are problems. You have taken the route of cursing healthy you rather than just understanding that these are the ingredients that you have. Because really, what this could mean is an incredible opportunity. This is how confirmation bias works. Your brain will find solutions based on the meaning you attached. So, confirmation bias means that you have already decided what it means, and now you're only working off of that information. So, if you decided that a missed deadline is a career ending disaster, you're going to get defensive, you're going to shrink. If you decide that that same missed deadline is your chance to redesign a broken process and demonstrate your leadership, your mind will immediately start searching for ways to make that so? That proof is all around us. Nature turns failures into breakthroughs all the time. Take a forest fire, for example. In the short term, it looks like destruction. It looks like just a decimated area. But ecologists will tell you that the fire is essential for the ecosystem. It's going to clear out dead brush, it's going to recycle the nutrients, and it's going to make way for stronger growth. Without the occasional fire, those forests become stagnant and they become vulnerable. The same principle applies to your career. A burned project, it might sting in the immediate, right? But it clears space for innovation, for creativity, for recognition. Or if you don't like forest fires, think about diamonds, right? Carbon stays carbon. It doesn't just become a diamond, it has to be put under this immense pressure and heat. These are conditions that are going to destroy most things, but you need them. They are required for the transformation into something rare and valuable. Failure is the pressure, the setback is the fire. You are the raw material being reshaped into something stronger. Now, you can turn that failure that you had at work, that frustration, that setback in the immediate, into an immense career opportunity. And I want to give you just 4 things that are going to help you do that. The first thing is to reframe immediately. If your brain is still playing tricks on you, if you are still telling yourself that same story that it's a negative, I want you to reframe it. Now, do you know what a frame does? Do you know what a frame's doing for you? Think about your fridge, right? If you have kids like I do, it is covered in all of the assignments, photographs, pictures that they colored. They're all over the place. And I could have 1,000 pictures on there. But if I have one in the frame, where are your eyes going to go? They're going to go right to that frame. So as soon as you hear yourself saying, I failed, I screwed up, they're going to be so angry, or they are so angry. I was already in the meeting and I heard it. I want you to turn that around for yourself. Give yourself a new frame around that picture. Think of it as, I found the problem that is worth solving. I recognized that what I was doing wouldn't get me where I wanted to go, and I can take a new avenue. I can reroute this direction. Then, once you've reframed it, I want you to look for leverage. And this is probably the most key aspect of this whole thing. Look for leverage. Ask yourself, how can I use this situation, this circumstance, to showcase what I do best? How am I going to showcase my leadership, my problem solving, my resilience in this moment through these circumstances? When you are able to look for that leverage and identify it for yourself, it's going to make this next step so much easier. Communicate what you found strategically. Here's a little secret, right? People don't want you to fail. I know it feels like that sometimes. I know it feels like they want you to just fall off the face of the earth. I have been there. I know the feeling. However, at the end of the day, it's expensive for them to retrain you, to replace you, to do all of those things that you think people are rooting against you for. The executives within the company, the leadership above you, they want you to succeed. And so they are looking for those identifiable moments that you have got it. They notice when you own a problem and when you can point towards the solution. They themselves make mistakes and they've seen everyone around them make mistakes as well. The real differentiator is when you own it and you say, "Yep, I should have done that better. I could have done that better. And this is how I am going to do it better moving forward." Now, once you have taken those first 3 steps, once you've reframed for yourself what happened, once you've looked for the leverage that'll take you to the next step, and then you've communicated that strategically with those around you and above you, then I want you to document that turnaround. Now, this really is for you. This is the story that you are going to tell yourself and that you're going to tell other people. The story of how you faced the failure and how you drove a better outcome, because that is going to be the story that gets you promoted. That's going to be the story that you tell in that next interview, whether it be with that same organization or another one. But that turnaround is the linchpin that you need. Now, I have so many examples of this, but I want to just give you one. I was working with a client who was very frustrated. She felt like no one was taking her seriously. She was younger and the only female voice in the room with these higher paid, higher status, bigger titles, older gentlemen that were working around her. And she really wanted to make her mark, but it was becoming difficult because she wasn't able to get them to work together. Remember in the beginning of this where I said that people are digging their heels in when you're supposed to be bringing two opposing people together? Well, they thought that this young woman would have the ability to do that, but these men were just pulling back as hard as possible. It was like they were on two ends of a tug of war, right? And so her boss called her into his office and said, "This just isn't working. And this is what we hired you to do, and it isn't working." And as a result of it not working, they were losing money because they were trying to run these simultaneous projects and these men just would not work together. Now, what this client did wasn't say, "You're right, I failed. It's not my fault they won't listen to me." She didn't do any of that. What she said was, "You're right. This isn't working because we are trying to bring two siloed groups together. We need a unified structure so that it is expected, it is the norm, it is the culture that all of these people would work together towards the same end. Because right now they have two opposing goals." And our boss said, You're right. What would that look like to unify this structure?" And that is when she and I worked together to write the exact job description for her dream job, where she was able to head up this unified department where these people would work together on singular goals and not distract and pull resources from each other. Now, this might sound like the unicorn, but it happens more often than you think. It happened for this client. It has happened for me in my career, and it can happen for you too when you reframe how you are looking at these failures. Now, the takeaway here is that failure at work. So, what I want you to know here is that failure at work doesn't have to be the end of the story. In fact, it might be the very thing that unlocks your next big opportunity. If forest fires can regenerate ecosystems and pressure can create diamonds, then surely a missed deadline or negative feedback or a coworker who doesn't want to play well with others can open the door for your next career breakthrough. Don't let failure be the period on the end of your story. Let it be the comma that leads to your next chapter, the chapter where you rise. All right, if you enjoyed this message, if you got something out of this, if you were feeling inspired to take on those failures at work and turn them into something great, then I want you to like this video and share it with someone else who needs that message as well. All right, that is all for this week, and I will see you next time. Thanks so much.